Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson. Welcome to Tea Time. This is like a trans topic daily show where we talk about anything related to being trans, and a lot of it is personal growth. So if you're not trans, you can still learn a lot because it's kind of like sprinkle salt and trans on topics that are really about personal growth. I wish I had like something where I could just dust stuff with trans. That would be great. I guess that's this show. We dust everything with trans. It's like you could just, yeah, you could, that's me like sniffing it like a line of trans. Where are we going? I don't know. But today is one of the questions that y'all submitted in a comment on my video of like embracing femininity. And I'd like to read some of it to give context before we kind of dive into the topic. But here it is, and I'm skipping over a little bit of it because I didn't understand the first part, to be honest. But the second part I thought was good. The thought line in all of this commentary that I didn't understand is the guardedness of the heart. And I suppose disassociation, living through the story, which is like believing that you are the story that you tell yourself, and buying into a narrative even when everything around you is clearly contradicting it, which is believing that you're told what the world is, what you're told, even if you find that it's contradicting what you know. I'd be curious to hear how you, Ashley, and other trans women, so please write in the comments below, reading this, find femininity to be in relation to softening and opening of the heart. I think my feminism says woman is woman, undefined by so-called receptivity or openness. As a trans woman, so much of what my feminism defends, which is closed off women, hairy bodies, etc., with regard to cis women, is dysphoric on me. So basically what she's saying is, her interpretation of feminism is that a woman is a woman and is undefined by receptivity or openness. And so as a trans woman, so much of what feminism defends is closed off women with hairy bodies, but it feels dysphoric to her. So I'm not sure exactly what she's saying, to be honest. This is unscripted. That's another part of the show. It's definitely not scripted, and we don't edit it. So I'm not going to edit that out. But my thoughts on kind of like this piece where she says, living through the story, buying into the narrative, and the guardedness of the heart. I think that's a very interesting topic in relation to being feminine and femininity. And I kind of noticed this with cis women, actually. I want to make a video on how to be feminine for cis women because this is going to sound weird, but cis women sometimes have a hard time embracing their femininity. And if you're a cis woman and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen cis women who aren't very feminine and they may even want to embrace that, but they just don't know how. Have you ever seen a woman where you're like, wow, that woman's kind of like a guy? And that's not a bad thing, but you've seen that, right? I made a friend in Japan, and she was visiting. She's not Japanese, but she was telling me after we met that she learned a lot about femininity with me, and that she had always wanted to be more feminine, but never found an appropriate space to be more feminine because she had to be hard and strong as a leader in a male-dominated space like film production. Have you ever kind of like heard or felt that? Maybe you felt that yourself, just as a trans woman, you know, like being in spaces with lots of men, you kind of feel like you want to fit in rather than feel like you fit out, if that makes sense. That's not proper English, I know this. I'm a writer, sort of. So, like, I think that for me, in response to this question, femininity is about openness. It is about not being guarded with your heart and being vulnerable. And I think that is the most beautiful and exciting thing to be feminine and to be a woman, is to allow your heart to open up and to just express and to put it out there on the table. I, as a man, had so much time just pretending to be a man and not even knowing that I was pretending, that for me to say, hey, I'm a trans woman, is pretty much putting it on the table at that point, because that's like the thing that I was most scared of hiding. But once you get that off your chest, you kind of don't need to hide a lot, because you basically just gave up the thing that you hid the most. Trans women out there, like, how's that been for you coming out, and how did that feel, and how are you now with your heart? I'd love to hear how your experience has been, because for me, I'm super vulnerable. I just let people into my heart. I let people know what my heart is. You can probably feel my heart coming through this video, which is partially the energetic work that I'm doing with you, is just by talking and expressing, we are connecting, we are sharing reality in this moment. And that's something on a subtle level I really want to give out. This is just an aside to you and to everyone in the world. So I want to give this heart space that I have here with you. And I want to give the clarity that I have, and also the confidence and the trust in myself. I want to give that to you, because I believe that you can trust yourself. I believe that you can do what you want. And I believe that you have the power within you to activate and create the potential in the world that you want to see, and give that to other people. Yeah, sorry, that was just my soapbox, and that was just an energetic transmission I want to give you, so there it is. But anyways, back to like femininity. Yeah, for me, it's all about opening. It's about being vulnerable. I love doing that in like the sex space as well. So I'm a submissive. I have topped before, but it's just not as fun, because I'm just like, trying to inflict something on you, and it's just like on my partner, not you, sorry, on my partner. And yeah, I mean, I can do it. I'm a life top. So, my life is, I'm top energy towards my life. I've moved countries several times. I've followed my dreams. I've started businesses, all of these things. But in the bedroom, I find my balance being a bottom. There's a yin yang. I don't know if you can see this, of a fish behind. You see that? There's two fish in the yin yang. Like, that's pretty much my life, is understanding the balance and finding the balance. And so, am I out of focus? Let's get me back in focus. So I don't even know where I'm going with that. But yeah, I feel like guardedness of the heart is such a weakness. It shows weakness because you're afraid. It makes you feel weak because you feel like you can't express, and you feel like you're not heard because you can't express. And then you're misinterpreted and you're misunderstood, and then you continue to move down this path of misunderstanding to a point where you've pretty much left the path of where you're going. Like, have you ever had that experience where you've been in a relationship or been with someone for so long and you haven't expressed exactly what you feel or think, that you eventually were like, hey, I was walking on this path, but now we're on this path and it's really far off my center, and we need to get back aligned, right? Like, you do this in business all the time. They have sync meetings and alignment, because everyone has their own ideas of what's going on, and they have their own stories, and you need to keep checking to make sure you're telling the same story. I think this is really interesting, how business and personal development can kind of be intermixed in one, but there you go. I mean, like, a business is a big mind, right? It's a big brain, it's a big thought, and it's kind of like a big organism. And I don't know where the immune system fits in there. Maybe that's just money. The more money you have, the more problems you can fix, potentially. But transitioning has really been about stepping into femininity, and for me, that's been stepping into vulnerability. How's that been for you? I'd love to hear in the comments. I don't know how long this is, so we're gonna kind of end there. Oh, and by the way, I have a few spots open for coaching right now. If you're interested, feel free to email me. I'll leave my email down in the comments below. And I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Bye.